So, what's the real secret to getting amazing results from AI? Most people think it's all about crafting that one single perfect prompt. But honestly, they're missing the most important part. The real power, the thing that separates the pros from everyone else, is mastering the follow up. Have you ever had that feeling? You type a question into an AI, you get back this super generic, uninspired answer, and you just think, well, I guess this thing isn't that good. If that's you, you're not alone, but I'm here to tell you there is a much, much better way. Here is the absolute core mistake most of us make. We treat the AI like a search engine. One question, one shot, and we're done. But every single time we hit new chat, we're throwing away all the context. The key is to treat it like a conversation, building on each response to get exactly what you need. So let's just formally call this out. The biggest hurdle for almost everyone is what I call the one prompt mistake. We're using just a tiny fraction of the AI's actual potential because we stopped the conversation way too soon. This right here is the first big mindset shift you need to make. That meh response you got, it wasn't a failure, it was an invitation. The AI is basically saying, okay, that's a start. Now tell me where you want to go next. And that leads us to the right way to think about all of this, the collaboration mindset. This is where you stop being a user who's just asking questions and you start becoming a director, a true collaborator. I love this analogy. Think of your AI like this incredibly brilliant intern. They're fast, they're capable, but they absolutely cannot read your mind. They need your guidance, your feedback, your corrections to do their best work. They need that feedback loop. Now, the technical term for this whole process is iterative prompting. It's not about one perfect command. It's more like a dance, a series of small guiding steps that steer the AI from some vague starting point to a really sharp, specific finish line. Because if you're not doing this, if you're still stopping after that first prompt, you are leaving so much of the AI's power on the table. You're really only tapping into about 20% of its potential. So, how do we put this mindset into practice? Well, I'm going to give you a practical toolkit, 4 specific, powerful follow-up techniques that you can start using literally right now to completely transform your results. First up is the perspective shift. This one is amazing. It's a way to instantly change the voice and the entire intent of the AI's output. You're not just asking for information anymore. You're asking for it to be framed for a specific person. For instance, instead of just getting a generic project proposal, you can get one that speaks directly to the concerns of your audience. The AI will automatically start adding details about ROI, cost saving, and risk. It's a total game changer. Next, we have the drill down. This is how you turn a high-level summary into a concrete plan. You find the one little part of the AI's response that you really like, and you tell it to zoom in and expand on just that idea. See what you're doing here? You're guiding the AI's focus. You're telling it, hey, ignore all the other noise and just build out this one part that's most valuable to me. You're turning a simple bullet point into an actionable strategy. Our third technique is adding a constraint. Now, this seems a little counterintuitive, I know, but giving the AI limits, like a word count or a specific format, or telling it what to avoid, actually forces it to be clearer and way more focused. See how simple that is? You're telling it exactly what you want the final product to look like. This is how you get rid of all the fluff and get straight to the point. And finally, we have a bit of an advanced move, the self-critique. Here, you ask the AI to stop generating new stuff and instead evaluate what it just gave you. This is an incredibly powerful way to find gaps and seriously improve the quality. By asking this, you're basically making the AI its own editor. You'll be amazed. It will often catch its own generic statements or find ways to add nuance that you might not have even thought of.
Okay, enough theory. Let's see how these techniques actually work together in a real-world scenario. We're going to take a prompt from totally vague and useless to incredibly valuable.
So we're starting with a super generic prompt. Come on, we've all done this. We're not really giving the AI much to work with here, so we shouldn't be surprised by the result. And there it is. Loyalty cards, social media, a list of things every single coffee shop in the world has already thought of. It's generic because our prompt was generic. This is where most people give up and close the window, but we're not going to do that. Here's our first move, a perspective shift. We add that critical context. We're not just any coffee shop, we're in a specific location with a very specific kind of customer. And just like that, the ideas get 10 times better. All of a sudden, the AI is suggesting things like flash 15-minute sales for busy traders or targeted LinkedIn ads for local offices. These ideas are now tailored, specific, and way more useful. But we can go even deeper. Now for our final follow-up, we're going to combine a drill down on that flash sale idea with a constraint, asking for a table format. We're turning one good idea into a plan that's basically ready to use. And look at that! In just 2 follow-up prompts, we went from a completely useless list to a concrete, actionable marketing plan, complete with catchy slogans and budget estimates. This is the power of iterative prompting. So what does this all mean for you? It means you need to stop thinking of yourself as someone who writes prompts and start thinking of yourself as an editor. This is probably the single most important takeaway. Your job isn't to get it perfect on the first try. Your job is to take the AI's first draft and guide it, shape it, and edit it into something brilliant. Ultimately, you're shifting from just asking a machine for answers to actually collaborating with a powerful tool. So the only question left is, now that you know how to have a real conversation with it, what will you create together?